tribulations, my heart, my balls, my somebody stop me, somebody come and get me. Little did I know that the Lord was riding with me. The law, the light, my heart, the fight, the wrong, the right is gone.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another JVS movie review. Today, I'm bringing you the latest entry of the DC animated universe. And yes, it's another Batman movie. Don't ask. It's another Batman movie. We kind of know at this point. You're going to get lots of Batman movies. There's no need to complain about it anymore. Stop complaining about it at this point. You kind of know you're going to get more Batman movies. It's always going to be Batman. But this one is Batman and Superman Battle of the Super Sons. And here's a quick synopsis. Jonathan Kent and a reluctant Damian Wayne are burdened with saving the world from an impending doom. The two must join forces to rescue their fathers and save the planet by becoming the superheroes they were intended to be. That synopsis is really bad. Let's just say that's a really bad synopsis. But this is directed by Matt Peters. Let me first off by saying this film is not nearly as bad as that synopsis makes it sound. That synopsis makes it sound like something you just say skip, and I'm not gonna watch that. In turn, this movie is possibly the most family-friendly DC animated film we've gotten in at least 7 years, and one of the most entertaining. This movie was really good. It completely caught me by surprise how good this movie is, and it's good because it's family-friendly. Like, when we're introduced at the beginning of the movie, they give us another Superman coming to Earth. Like, at this point, we don't need Krypton to blow up anymore. We've seen it blow up so many times. Granted, here is the purpose of it blowing up is for us to see Starro, who is the main villain in this film. And we see him attaching himself to Superman's pod as he's leaving Krypton as everything is blowing up. But I just don't want to see. I don't want to see Krypton blow up anymore. I don't want to see Bruce's parents die anymore. I don't want to see Krypton blow up anymore. I don't want to see Uncle Ben die anymore. It's now at the point where some of these things just don't need to be seen anymore. But yeah, attempting to show us that Starro's on here, and that's how we get possibly the problem that's going to happen. Granted, that is actually highly unnecessary from the way we're introduced to the villain in this film. But after that, we get the introduction of Superman. And we get to see Jonathan and just being a kid and the animation style, which I was very critical of when they started these new DC films. I was extremely critical from Superman Man of Tomorrow, which I still dislike as a film, and I dislike the way that animation was done. Here we get a full CGI version of it, very reminiscent of a little bit of an Iron Giant type of feel at times. But it's because it feels warmer than the other films so far released in the new DC animated series. Like, and the last one being the Green Lantern movie, I think Beware My Power was the last one before this one. Like, this just feels so much warmer and so grand in scale. Like, it's a scene in this film where on a watchtower where Green Lantern is searching to a mysterious sound on the watchtower, and the angles that they use, it makes everything seem grand in scale. You really appreciate it at that point, the animation of this film, and it helps you understand why they possibly chose this animation style, especially when you're making a film that's way more kid friendly. You need something that will possibly appeal more to children, and this movie works that way with its animation style, that it does appeal more to kids. And again, and then back to the story, we just get to the element of Jonathan. We meet him. We see the relationship between him and his dad, of him wanting more of his father to be around, because here he does not know who his father is. Him wanting more of his father to be around him. Him missing his dad. And it's kind of sort of the elements you get out of the CW show, the Superman show on CW at the beginning, where the boys are really craving the attention of their dad. Here we get that from Jonathan, where he's just craving attention to his father. They have this heartfelt moment after they clean up and straighten up everything, and he's just sitting with his dad, and he's like, I just basically said, I miss you. I just wanted to see more of you. Why does your job always have to pull you away? And then we get the introduction that he finds out that his dad is Superman, and he finds out by his dad telling him he's Superman. And then that's when we get introduction of Starro and his plans and blah, 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 blah. And I gotta say that because I can't explain any of that to you because all of those will be spoilers. But that just to say, the introduction of Jonathan Kent is really good here. The playful relationship he has with his mom is really good here. The heartfelt moments he has with Clark, of him just wanting Clark to be around, really, really works. Unfortunately, when you go on the other end of it, between Bruce and Damian, you don't get those same scenes at all. In the end, this should have been named something with just Superman. Because while we do get Bruce, we Batman, we do get Damian, and we do get the boys teaming up, this feels way more of an Jonathan Kent origin story than anything else. Like, this is a straight Jonathan Kent origin story. So it would have been good, possibly, if you did just remove that Batman name and just said something as it pertains to Superman and this being Jonathan Kent's story, because that's what this actually is. But Damian, we get the snobby Damian that we're accustomed to, but still in a more playful, kid-like way. It's not the one from the prior DC movies where he was just bloodthirsty in everything humanly possible. So it's not that Damian that we get introduced here. We get introduced to a Damian that feels like a kid, that clearly is made in the mode of this film to make children and to entertain children, make children comfortable with a character that all of his history is dark and he's an assassin. And while he says that in his film, you never fully take him seriously. And I think, again, it's because of the way they set up everything. The animation style, the dialogue between him and Jonathan at times, it is very playful. And it works on every level for this type of film. Again, if you're going to make a film that I think is way more targeted to that 10 and under age range than I've ever seen a DC animated film targeted to, like, they did pretty good to mellow him out from the character that he's been accustomed to being. And again, we get a world-ending event, possibly not the best thing in the world. You kind of possibly wanted them to pull back a little bit more, but these are the children of Batman and Superman. You got to give them a world-ending event. Starro, I don't think, was the best villain for them to go against here, because that's a huge villain to have to go against. But it kind of reminded me of the Suicide Squad, because it was the same exact thing, where I'm like, maybe he's not the villain that you go against here. But in the end, you kind of understand why you wanted to use him. But here we got just to see them team up, to see them have fun, to see them be children, to see Jonathan struggle in school, and see Damon help him out at one point in time. Like, it's, again, in the end, it's still a Jonathan Kent origin story. Damian Wayne is just in it because he's Batman's son. And the movie has Batman's name in the title. So you got to show him. And for that reason alone, it still stays entertaining throughout. That's one thing I can say. And this is a complete rebound for Matt Peters, because he did possibly the worst DC animated film ever made before this one, which is the Injustice movie, which is absolutely horrible. So I think this is a great rebound for him, and it is a great change of pace for him. Like, at this point, I can no longer blame him for Injustice. At this point, I'm blaming everyone else for Injustice, because if he's able to pull off this film, this Battle of the Super Sons versus what we got in Injustice, I think he's an extremely talented director who should get more projects from DC moving forward. And hopefully we get to stick way more with this animated style than the black outline animated style that we've gotten accustomed to in the other films. I don't know if this is just a one-off for this film with this animation style, but I hope not, because this animation style looks amazing. And again, the animation style is able to show a grander scope of everything than the basic black outline drawn one that they've really been going with out of these new films. So, Batman and Superman, Battle of the Super Sons. Now, this debuts, I don't even know when this comes out. I'm not even gonna lie to you. This debuted at Comic-Con, people. Don't blame me, blame Comic-Con. That's how I know about it. That's how I saw it. So I don't know when this releases. I know it releases this year. I just don't know the date that it releases on VOD. But when it does release, we will put it in the description so you all can know when this movie drops. But out of a possible 10, I am going to give this film an 8.5 out of 10. This is a really good kids movie. I think, well, I do think the whole family can enjoy it. I really do think for the younger kids, this is the movie they've been waiting for from DC Animation. Not that Legions of Super Pets movie that we got. While I didn't mind it, it wasn't that bad. But this one is a complete improvement over that. And it's because this film never treats kids like they're children. It doesn't treat you like we have to dumb down things for you. This is a very good origin story wrapped around kids, and they act like children, and they react to things like children. It's a scene when Jonathan Kent finds out his father's Superman, and his level of excitement that his father is Superman is what you would expect from a kid. Even him flying his dad around, he's like, man, I can't believe my dad's my favorite superhero. Well, my second, because Batman's my favorite superhero. But my dad's my second favorite superhero. And then when he gets to meet Batman and just, again, this is what makes this animation style so amazing. They show him, and through his eyes, you kind of see everything that encompasses Batman. And I don't think without this animation style, you could have gotten that shot off and it worked as well as it does. But you get to see the joy in Jonathan. He's reacting like a kid. Even Damian, when Damian meets Jonathan, he's reacting like a kid, a snot-nosed little kid, but a kid nonetheless. Like, at no point in time do these two children act like adults. And I think that's what makes this film work, because they still have childlike innocence in them. Even though everybody knows the backlog of Batman's son and everything he's been through, but they still inject him with enough childlike innocence that makes this movie work so well. And so I think families can sit down, watch this, and thoroughly enjoy it. This has been another JVS movie review. Peace, people.